Good evening. Welcome to Live Irish Myths. This is episode number 141. I'm Anthony Murphy of Mythical Ireland. You're very welcome to the library this evening. Hello to all of you from the Boyne Valley, from Drogheda in the county of Louth, or straddling the county of Meath on the east coast of Ireland. Today it's been a bright day and a blustery day, but it is now quite wet and windy. I hope that no matter where you are in the world, you're keeping well. If you're joining us on Facebook, good evening to you. If you're joining us on YouTube, a very good evening to you also. Let me just double check before we continue that I am in fact streaming as I'm supposed to be on the Mythical Ireland page, on the Mythical Ireland community, on Facebook, and also on YouTube, hopefully. Yes, good. Well, that's a good start. Donna Jean Porter is the first in the house this evening. So, the plan is that there isn't really a plan. I thought of a couple of things that I would do. The first one is that I'm going to play back. You've probably seen it, but I'm going to play a little bit of the first episode so you can see how tentative and how experimental it was, and how reticent I seemed to be about the whole thing as to whether it was a good idea or not. Anyway, it's incredible to think how much it's come on. Anyway, welcome to everybody. You're the reason that Live Irish Myths has been a success. Yes, Redan, sorry, thank you. Don't forget that if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the Mythical Ireland channel. There's a subscribe button beneath somewhere. I don't know which side it's on. And there's a little bell icon appears when you click the subscribe button. And click on that and decide what you want to be notified about. For the channels that I really like, I like to be notified about pretty much everything. So if there's any live stream on, I get a notification. If there's a new video uploaded, I get a notification, etc. Can't believe that it's a year. So just to recap a little bit. On the evening of Thursday, the 12th of March, 2020, Michael, would you be sort of in a relationship with this lady, husband, partner, brother or something, father? On the evening of the 12th of March, which was a Thursday last year. Obviously, it's Friday the 12th this year. The Irish Taoiseach, our Prime Minister, addressed the nation. And it was clear at that point that COVID-19 had come to Irish shores. And that we were entering into what was then to be a 2-week lockdown. And, we know now, a year on, that we're in our third fairly restrictive lockdown. This one's been really long. This one's been in place since just after Christmas. And it's going to continue at least into April. There might be a slight relaxation of the restrictions in April, but it's going to carry on for the time being. Now, on the 12th of March 2020, I had already been working from home since the previous week because my employer, knowing the possibilities, decided to put a strategic plan in place to get us all working remotely before the inevitable announcement came. So the previous week, we'd all been sent home to work and we'd all been set up remotely, which was brilliant. I was already set up remotely. I was doing some work from home anyway. But I remember it that evening, Thursday, the 12th of March 2020, because, as with all of these things, it was a very sort of uncertain time. And we knew that suddenly, not only were we going into some sort of a lockdown and the schools were being closed. I mean, Thursday the 12th was the last day my kids were at school for a long time. But we also had, this total uncertainty about the economy and how things were going to go. And a lot of my friends who are in the tourism industry suddenly saw their business completely dry up and collapse overnight almost. Over the next couple of weeks, everything was cancelled. Everybody who was in Ireland from abroad flew home and nobody else wanted to come here, understandably, given the situation that was prevailing. Anyway, so by the time the 12th came around, it's a funny thing that Live Irish Myths should have started on the 12th, because you might be sort of wondering about that, saying, why did he start it on the 12th? You know, why be, on the eve of the lockdown, on the day of the announcement, just checking that seems to be a bit of brightening sky towards the west. Well, the reason is because at that stage, I had already been working at home, and I'd been in the house since, I think, the previous Monday, which I'm not sure if that was 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Was that the 2nd of March? And so by the time the 12th came around, I myself was kind of suffering a little bit from claustrophobia, cabin fever, whatever you call it. And I thought it would help me to do some mythology reading. Didn't realize that there were so many people who'd be interested in it. I just said, do a live stream and just, do some reading. And, well, look, what happened was that after doing it for a few days in a row, it just seemed to gain a significant head of steam, and a lot of people started watching, and there was a lot of very nice interaction took place. And sort of a clan or a tuatha, a tribe of people around the world, most of us didn't know each other from Adam, developed around it, and I get into a habit of saying hello to people and mentioning them by name and reading out their comments. And so that was a feature of it, that it was a nice way for people to feel that they were part of something. And a lot of you undoubtedly were facing your own challenges in relation to your working life and your family life and your home life with the lockdowns, which basically spread everywhere pretty soon after that. And most countries in the West anyway were in some sort of a lockdown situation. And after a couple of weeks, then it just became a given. It was like, this is something we're going to be doing as long as this crisis goes on. Didn't realize that we'd be doing it a year later, but I should mention that, there were 102 daily episodes from that date for 102 days until basically I kind of began to run out of steam. I felt that it was very difficult to keep it going because I was working full time, and I was trying to do everything else. I was trying to get Island of the Setting Sun republished. I was trying to finish off Return to Cailleach. I was trying to write a new book, in addition to all the other things that need to be done for Mythical Ireland, creating videos and podcasts and all that sort of stuff. So at that stage, it became weekly, but it hasn't really been weekly. Sometimes we've had 2 or 3 episodes in a week, so it hasn't really sort of stuck to a rigid schedule. Broke out into a thing called Book Talk, but that hasn't lasted simply because then this new idea came to mind, prompted by a couple of episodes with Morgan Daimler, where it would be interesting to bring guests on, and that prompted me to start the new Live Irish Myths in Conversation series, and that's gone well so far. We've had 8 episodes. No, 7. We've had 7, haven't we? Oh, I don't even know. That's ridiculous. I should know exactly how many we've had. Yes, Patrick McCafferty was number 7. Next Monday, number 8 is with Bob Quinn. The following Monday, number 9 is with Geraldine Stout, the archaeologist. And the following week on episode 10, we'll have the Prehistory Guys. And hopefully that's a series that will continue long into the future. Anyway, this is what we call a regular series, the one that began on that fateful day. Before I do, I'm going to play a little bit of the original video. Before I do that, I should say hello to a few people. Seeing YouTube and Facebook comments. Barbara Barney is in the house. Michael Porter, Barbara Murphy, Mariana Dunn. Glad you're... Oh, yes, by the way, I should have mentioned, as I did say I would do, I have my glass of wine. So cheers. Happy anniversary, folks. Thank you for... look at that. Look at that lovely light on the face. Look, that's a real filmmaker's delight there. Look at that. And the focus is deciding. So, cheers. Happy anniversary and congratulations for sticking with it. And especially for sticking with all the terrible jokes. Marion Thomas Ibarra says, happy birthday, Mythflix. Hello to you. Vicky Wallace Southall is in the house. Hello. A special hello to Evan and Chili. Good evening to you. Gary Kyo is watching. Oh, the comments are disappearing. Jackie Stevenson, Archaeastronomy Database, Patricia Langton, Deborah Williams, Barbara Murphy, Jennifer Foley, Helen Hirsch Chadder. They're disappearing. Robert Friend is here. Daisy Peters, Leon Leich, Archaeastronomy Database. Oh, they're flying. They're disappearing really quickly here. Apologies. Michael, yes, my wife Donna Jean. Yes, Michael, good stuff. Glad to have you along. I'm missing. They're flying, I apologise. So just in case, I'm Deborah Williams. I'm not sure if I mentioned you already. Desiree Riley is in the house. Hard to believe it's been a year already. Yeah, I know, but isn't it great that we're able to do it? Nuala Doyle is in the house. Hello, Nuala. Sheelah Gunn is here. Hello, Sheelah. Tom King is in the house. Hello. Ongawa sends many blessings. Good stuff, Tom. Always a pleasure to see you. A fellow Boyne Valley man. Jennifer Foley. I remember too, we locked down here a couple of days before my birthday. Wow, happy birthday to you. That must mean this weekend, so we'll have to all sing together. Arch DB. YouTube didn't launch the original live. Yeah, that's because I'm having a problem with Melon app, isn't it? Regina Riley's in the house. Doris O'Hara, Mandy McCurl. The Curious Celt is here. Hello. And thanks for your comments. Always a pleasure for me to do this. And great to be able to bring people together in a lovely sort of warm, welcoming space. Jacinta Paisley is here. Hi, Jacinta. Welcome. Jules Cousins is in the house. Hello, Jules. Dawn Hilton is here. Donna Jean Porter, I think I mentioned already, but just in case I didn't. Sorry, I did, yes. Daniel, who is November 8, Tango India November, who's also a radio amateur like myself. Good evening from Echo India 2 Kilo Charlie. Yvette Tillema is here. It was the 12th for me too. They announced a positive case of the grocery the day before. Yeah, strange times, but at the same time, we've sort of gotten a little bit used to it. I'm after missing a comment there now because they're just literally flying up the screen. So my apologies. If I miss you, it's not because I'm being ignorant or rude or anything. It's just because they're literally flying up the screen. Sue Prenter, I was a latecomer but glad to have found Mythical Ireland. Mind you, my library has extended and my bank balance reduced. I know the feeling. I suspect you're not the only one in that situation. Jules Cousins says, my head has expanded with knowledge. Caitlin Moon says, it's my birthday today. Having a party in Dublin. Well, happy birthday to you, Caitlin. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Caitlin. Happy birthday to you. And here's to many more happy birthdays. And here's to hoping that the next one is with friends and family, physically in their presence. Archaeastronomy DB is grateful for the community. Brilliant stuff. I can't read all the comments because it's just literally they're disappearing as I read them. Desiree is happy that she found this group. You all helped me so much over the last year. Lovely to hear that, Desiree. And the truth is that you good folks have all helped me too. Absolutely, without a question. Terry Ulmer, thank you, Terry. A sunny hello from Arizona. We're jealous. We had sun today, but it was cold. Paul Campbell, to mark the 1 year episode today, I watched episode 1 from exactly 1 year ago on the 12th of March. Near the end, you mentioned you were tired, but you must have re-energized as you did 102 daily episodes. Yeah, I think I must have found some energy. You find energy in the stories. You definitely do. Noel Kelly, thanks, Noel. Glad to have you along. Hope everybody is well with you. Sabrina, cheers to you also. Paula Snow Queen, Barb Jordan. Yes, indeed. Where did I see Paula Snow Queen's comment? Clink. Yes, indeed. I'll drink to that. Aaron Durrett is in the house. Hello, Aaron. And we've been glad to have had your company throughout the past year. It's been great. All these lovely seeing the regulars. Everybody's welcome, of course, but it's just some people are sort of, as I say, some people are regular, and then there's the regulars. Patricia Wardell, thank you, Patricia. Jackie Stevenson is in the house as well. I may have mentioned you already. If I did, forgive me. There are so many. Kathleen is... don't be worrying about being late to the party. The thing is to enjoy yourself while you're here. Now, what are we going to do? Mavanwi is in the house. Now sing it in Irish. Yeah. But my singing is terrible. Lar Herbert is in the house, as is Jay Shaw. Gillian Taylor's here. Hello, Gillian. The Not Chosen. Now, this isn't a requests episode. I'm not going to be singing songs at your request. There's no such... I mean, I embarrass myself enough with the terrible jokes. Diana Courtman. Well, there you go, Diana. That's what happens, you know. Let's see if we can't, or if we can even. It's a curious way of saying things, isn't it? Let's see if we can't. Give me one moment. Let's see if we can't. Just trying to organize this now. Mind you, you could do this yourself on your own screen, but we'll have a little bit of fun here for a moment. Let's watch the first couple of minutes of the original episode and just see how reserved I am, and, as I say, tentative and anxious and not having a clue whether this is going to be of any use to anyone whatsoever, and just sort of feeling my way into it, as if to say, well, I'm just going to try this, and, if it doesn't work, no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong. That's Eddie. No, Eddie Lenihan, the star that he is. Now, let's see if that's there. Yes, here we go. Right, now, let's see if I can... how do I... Oh, yes. How do I share screen? I do that, first of all. Then I do that. Then I... Yes, share. And share audio, yes. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Why isn't that sharing? Sorry, I apologize. I have an error because the YouTube video is not playing. So give me one moment. I do apologize. I please, I beg your. Yes. Okay. Right now we've got that playing. How do we share it? Share screen. Screen 2. Share. Are you seeing that? Oh, okay. I have to show it on stream. Here we go. Here it is. The very, very first. Oh, look how much the bookshelves have changed too. The new shelves. Here is the very first couple of minutes of Live Irish Myths episode 1. And if you remember, those of you who were there for the first episode, I think I called it Coronavirus Tales. The first one. And then I said, no, that's a bad idea because people are going to think this is all about coronavirus, which it wasn't. It was very much about distracting from that whole thing. Anyway, have a quick watch.
And I think we're live. Good evening, everybody. And welcome to the office of Mythical Ireland, if not the landscape where I usually broadcast from. So tonight's live broadcast is... a means of breaking the boredom for me anyway, and maybe for some of you as well. So today in Ireland, it was announced that all schools and colleges are to close for 2 weeks, and a lot of restrictive measures have been put in place around the coronavirus. So I'm going to be working at home. I've been working at home this week. I'm going to be working at home for the next fortnight. And so I'm going to spend a lot of time here. And I thought I would help to break my own boredom and help to break your boredom. It's not that work is boring, don't get me wrong. It's just, I think that it might just help take minds off the panic and the negativity and the fear that seems to be a big part of the whole COVID-19 story at the moment. There's nothing like a few stories to take your mind off things. I'm going to read tonight from a book that was originally published in 1912, written by Charles Squire. It's a very popular work. It was originally published as Celtic Myth and Legend.
Not sure if you can still hear me, or can you only hear that?
In London. And I'm going to read from a...
Longest 2 weeks ever, says Caitlin.
1998 republication by Senate, and it's called Retitled.
At that stage, I
Mythology of the Celtic People.
Realise.
I proposed to read a couple of chapters, and who knows? Maybe we might get a bit of a discussion.
I didn't really know whether anybody was watching.
Don't forget that you can comment on the live video. I can read the comments to the side here. so that, after a while, if
You can hear
there are
both. Great.
questions,
Hello, Joan.
that you want to ask, they may prompt a little bit of discussion on
5-9. Thank you
people
for the
can join
report,
in.
Daniel.
The other thing is that this is a live broadcast. I can't pause it. I can only
Sorry,
end
I'm trying
it.
to show Joan's comment. There we go.
So, there are 2 dogs and 6 other humans in this house. So if there are noises in the background, hopefully we can just ignore them.
That
Anyway,
was how it
I'm going
started.
to start
You can see
with
how
Chapter 5,
tentative the
gods
whole thing
of
was.
Gaels.
I just set up
And
the
again, this is
camera,
from
I
Charles
just
Squire.
started the stream,
Of the
grabbed
2
Charles Square
Celtic
and said,
races that settled
let's
in
give
our
this a go,
islands, It is the earlier, the Gaels, that has best preserved its old mythology. It is true
And
we have
actually you'll
cases,
see,
such
as you watch that episode, you'll see that eventually I do start acknowledging the people who are watching and saying hello. I know Barb Jordan was one of those. There are several others, and forgive me for...
And I just should warn you that if there are butcherings of words and names, and my pronunciation isn't good, that is entirely my fault.
That goes for every episode that I've ever had.
Nonetheless, may we draw...
In fact, if you look back, you'll probably find my pronunciation of certain Irish words has changed in that time.
With some clearness. We find them, as might
Anyway,
be anticipated,
that is...
like the divine
you can watch that.
hierarchies
Of course,
of
all
other
of the
Aryan
episodes,
peoples.
thankfully, are on the
We
YouTube
also
channel.
find them
So
separated into opposing
I was streaming simultaneously. For the first few episodes, I wasn't actually streaming on both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. If I'm not mistaken, I streamed only on YouTube. Am I right or am I wrong? It was like something like episode 5 or 6 before I figured how to do both at the same time. I was using the phone for one and the webcam for the other. Now, thankfully, I can stream simultaneously to several at once using the new camera and the new service. So I know that all of the episodes are on YouTube, but I'm not sure if all of them are on Facebook. So if you're looking for all of the Live Irish Myths episodes, you need to look to YouTube. Anyway, that's enough of him waffling away. And of course, things have changed in terms of upgrading the equipment. Now, I want to show you something else, and that is, so we're going to have a bit of fun, I hope. But what I want to try and do is I want to show you the graphics. The graphics I found once I created a template. I had a template. I had to change the image every day and the detail of the episode number and what the episode was about. I found that in the early days I was doing a separate graphic to promote it, and then so one graphic to promote it and a separate graphic then on YouTube after the upload. And then I eventually realized actually it's pointless doing twice the work. Why don't you just create one graphic every time? Because you see, I was doing this again. I was working full time, so I would get up in the morning and I'd be getting ready for work, and I'd be like, I have to do a live stream this evening. I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I have to create a graphic. And sometimes that could be done in 5 minutes, but sometimes there would be half an hour's work in that or more, depending on how complex it was. Anyway, so I'm going to share my screen again. I just want to show you. I was trying to find them. For some reason, I can't find all of them. I know I have them on my computer. I just haven't got them all in the one folder. I'm going to show you. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to show you if this works. Okay, just allow me to set this up for a second. Share screen. Screen 2. Okay. Show on stream. So I'm going to show you the graphics. We'll go through these really quickly. So, Anthony, I thought Yochi. Well, I pronounce it Yochi, but there are different pronunciations of it, Regina. But the important thing is that there's a sort of a Y sound at the beginning of it, you know. Yes, indeed. So show this on stream. So there is the very first episode was basically a chapter or two from Charles Squire, The Gods of the Gaels, in which he was talking about the Tuatha Danann. It seems now, looking back, a perfect way to start. And by the way, I should say that let me just quickly go back to the live. That first episode has had 9,000 views. The Tuatha Danann, I find, once you put that in a subject line, always gets information. Second episode was the coming of the sun god Lugh. Episode 3 was Cailleach and Cuchulainn. You might have heard them being mentioned by Patrick McCafferty in our conversation episode on Monday. Episode 4 was about the Dagda, chief of the Tuatha Danann. That's a picture that I took along the Boyne. That's the Dagda's mound in the foreground. You'll have heard me speaking about that. Hopefully you've seen the new video on YouTube about... Yeah, Paul, it makes a good point, and that is it wasn't clear at the end of the episode 1 when the next episode would be, because at that stage I didn't know I was going to do a daily live stream, but it just so happened that, look, everything was kind of cancelled and nobody was going to be going anywhere, so it just made sense. I might as well try and do one every evening. But you're right, after the first one, nobody knew when the second one would be, or if there would be one. Episode 5 was the second Battle of Moytura. I wonder if any of you can identify the location in the photograph. There you go. Now it's in Ireland, so don't be the smart aleck and say Ireland. I want specific location. Mara Elaine, hello, Mara Elaine. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you've been enjoying yourself, and I hope that we're able to continue it for long into the future. Suddenly he stopped and stared at the screen and said, I just remembered a dream I had. I was captured from that moment. Oh, yes. I was speaking to a couple of friends about that lately. I'd had what I consider to be a significant dream the previous night. And I was talking to them about the fact that realization struck me. I think that was an episode in which I was discussing Boyne. Anyway, Joan McHugh. Yes. I didn't know whether anybody would get it that quickly, but you're completely right. That's exactly where it was taken. That was taken at midnight, coming up to midsummer. So there was still lots of light in the sky. Really loved my trip to Tory Island. Anyway, let's get through these because there's 100 or so. Episode 6, which I think, if I'm right, was the 17th, was the day of St. Patrick's Day. Seemed like an apt time to talk about St. Patrick in the Boyne Valley. The next day, the 18th of March, is, of course, St. Sheila's Day, or at least it used to be celebrated before the famine. It used to be celebrated as St. Sheila's Day. And Sheelah was said to have been the wife of St. Patrick. There you go. But that is actually a Sheelah na gig carved into a stone in the cemetery at the Hill of Tara. Episode 8 was about the Cailleach of Loughcrew, and that's another picture that I took obviously, after a snowfall. That's Cairn U. That's Cairn V, partly destroyed, and in the background, that's Cairn T. At the time that photograph was taken, Cairn T was still accessible. That was taken in early 2018, I think. I was going to say chapter 9. Episode 9 was Aislinga Ingesog, the dream vision of Ingesog. And I got that picture of the two swans landing on the Boyne one day by chance and superimposed it onto a picture of Sheed and Broger and Newgrange. Episode 10 was about Manannán Mac Lir, god of the sea. Number 11 was about Oisin and Tiernanog. That's another photograph taken from the Tory Island on the top of a hill called Dún Balor's fort, where he was alleged to have lived and where he kept his daughter Ethne captive, because there was a prophecy that he would be killed by his own grandson. So he kept his daughter imprisoned so that she wouldn't have any children. But of course, Lugh found a way around that. Episode 12 was about the High Man. Episode 13 was Cailleach, the first woman in Ireland. Episode 14 was the fate of the children of Lear, followed by the day after, the second part. Episode 16, we talked about Boyne, the goddess of Brunabonia. I'm not sure if that was the episode I mentioned that dream in. It could have been a different one. But there is the Boyne in flood in front of the Dagda's Mound. Some of you might know that as Mound B, but I'm running a one-man campaign to try to have it renamed as the Dagda's Mound. Then we began some exploration of the Fianna cycle with the coming of Finn, and then we talked about Finn's dogs, Bran and Skjoldum. And then I did an episode about the Druids. You can bet your bottom dollar those things are always popular. Once you mention Druids, people get very excited. In episode 20 we spoke about the Morrigan and Moytura. And then we did a series about the wooing of Etain, Tuchmark Etain, a very significant tale concerning the great monument of Newgrange and Brunebonia. Part 1 and parts 2 and 3 were done then in the second episode. More stories of Manannán Mac Lir in episode 23. And in episode 24, I spoke about Crom Cruaich and Crom Dubh. 25 was about the myths of Knowth and Dubh. And chapter 26 is Dronehenge mentioned in myth? I think we've kind of, you can see how much it varied. It didn't stick to any sort of running theme. It was like we would jump from mythological cycle to Ulster cycle to Dinshenachus and back and forth, etc. More about the Druids, see what I mean? Didn't follow any logical pattern. I keep saying chapter. Episode 28 was about Niall ní Gailleach, Niall of the Nine Hostages, and his encounter with the hag at the well. Did a couple of episodes touring the Mythical Ireland Library. The Mythical Ireland Library has expanded greatly, actually, even since then, such that I'd have to go back and start again and do a series of tours. Animals in Celtic mythology was a popular topic. The birth of Setanta, who later became Cuchulainn, and we went on to speak the next day about his boyhood deeds. In episode 33, and I think we did several episodes about place name myths and legends, based around the Dinshenachus and the work of the likes of P.W. Joyce, etc., etc. There you go. There's part 2. Lisdoon Varna. Does anyone know Lisdoon Varna? I think it's famous for its music, Alwee Caves, etc., etc. Fanor. Yeah, there we go. And the third episode, Corofin. I love the Irish names. The Best Men of the Fianna. We were back with the Finn cycle in episode 36. Episode 37 was about the mysterious island of High Brazil. And then continuing kind of on that theme, Submerged and Phantom Cities. Episode 39, we spoke about Brigid, Goddess and Saint. And of course, we recently passed Imbolc, and we did an episode on Imbolc recently. The next, of course, celebration in the Celtic calendar is Spring Equinox coming up in just over a week. Brigid's Way in Ancient Alignment was the subject of number 41, Milky Way. Oh yeah, I enjoyed that. That's in the book, in my Mythical Ireland book. Deirdre and the Sons of Ishnok, I think, was several episodes, wasn't it? Yes. See that? 3 episodes in a row. Some of them are good from that point of view because they give you more than one episode. Like, that'll keep us going for a while. Chapter 45, one of my personal favourites. Synchronicity, serendipity, and spontaneity. And so that's an image of, the main image shows site Q, which is the Dronehenge, and its alignment. That's a drone shot that I took a few years ago with the summer solstice sunrise. And overlaid onto that, you can see a plan of Dronehenge, which I discovered near Newgrange in 2018. Chapter. Get the chapters out of your head. Episode 46 was an open house. We had a chat and spoke. People asked questions and I tried to answer them. I couldn't answer half of them, so I decided not to do that again because it just embarrassed me. 47, we spoke about Gabála and in particular the arrival of the Tuatha Danann. In 48, we continued with the separate recensions of that story. Episode 49 was about Aine, the Otherworld woman associated with Lugh and Knock Aine or Knock Aine in County Limerick. Chapter 50 was about Onomasticon, the most unpronounceable of all the episodes, Onomasticon Gaelicum. And that was basically a glossary, a dictionary, an encyclopedia of words and place names used in all of the Irish manuscripts, composed by Edmund Hogan. Episode 51 was about the formidable Queen Maeve. She used to be featured, and that's the image there from the Irish pound note back in the day before the euro, when we used to use our own currency called the punt, pounds and pennies. Early Irish society was the subject of number 52. I suspect, if memory serves me right, some of that was about the Brehon laws. Episode 53 was about Éanach Tailteann, the Irish Olympic Games. And then we had, coming up into early May, we had the celebration of Baltray. That was a lovely few episodes, very enjoyable. We did a talk about Ishnok, the sacred centre of Ireland, where the up until COVID-19 came along, the ancient May fire, the Bealtaine fire, which had been lit there for centuries, was reinstituted in recent years. Is brilliant, as part of a festival. Eru, who's intimately associated with Uisneach, we spoke about. She's one of the triune of guardian goddesses, along with Fola and Banba. And episode 57, we did another celebration of Bealtaine, and I think, was that the night we'd all lit? We were watching the fire up at Uisneach that was live, and then we all lit our own little fires. That was fantastic. Look, sure, it continued, because there's so much to say about Bealtaine. I don't know, when we get to Bealtaine this year, I don't know what we're going to talk about, because we've used up all the material. Maybe we just repeat. Laura Gabála was again on the agenda in 59, the arrival of the Fir Bolg. In episode 60, I was back on very comfortable territory, speaking about astronomical alignments, and of course that's the winter solstice sunlight spilling into Newgrange. Hope everybody's okay. I'm not seeing any comments. If I'm boring you, just I hope I haven't scared everyone off. Kathleen Kane is the last one that I can see 3 minutes ago. Oh, Lisdun Varna. Yes, indeed. Great for the music. The Cygnus Enigma was the subject of episode 61. Yeah, I'll move on through these, and then we can have a bit more crack. Orion in Irish mythology, of course, a very important constellation in many pre-literate and prehistoric cultures. And was enough there for a couple of episodes. Fourknocks. Is Fourknocks mentioned in mythology? That was very interesting. It was based around, I think quite a lot of it was based around a paper by Kelly Kilpatrick, which was about identifying the place name of Fourknocks, and then I wondered whether it might be mentioned in mythology. Baltray and the Standing Stones and its solstice alignment, winter solstice sunrise, as you can see there in that picture, the myths and the megaliths of Baltray at the mouth of the Boyne River. Knowth Curbstone 52, the calendar stone. I managed to make an entire episode out of that, episode 66. And who can forget the epic four-part Da Derga's Hostel, Tugal Brunja Da Derga, and the repetition of that famous phrase, not difficult that, and the description of the various rooms and characters in Da Derga's Hostel, some of which were comical, caricatured, and downright ridiculous. Not difficult that. Yeah. So we did 4 episodes. And I think by the time number 4 was finished, we were kind of ready to move on to something else. And we did, with Ireland's lost Stonehenge, that great monument detailed at Carnbeg outside Dundalk in the middle of the 18th century by Thomas Wright, and wonderfully brought to life from the only known drawing or depiction of it, because it was destroyed before the invention of the camera. The wonderful bringing back to life of the monument in 3D by our friend Kerem Gogus, who is is a long time friend and supporter of Mythical Ireland, but is a regular viewer on the live streams as well. We had the settling of the Manor of Tara as episode 72. Eventually I got round to part 2 of the library tour. You'll be wondering where parts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 are by the time we get through all the books. Newgrange, the Test of Time. Oh, this was part of a series, wasn't it? We did a series of live streams about Newgrange. There was so much to say about Newgrange. That one was called The Test of Time, about the durability of the great monuments. And, how it has lasted so long, it and its sister monuments. The next episode, we spoke about the idea of whether it was meant to be seen as a tomb or a womb. Language first, I believe, introduced by Maria Gambutas, but that was interesting. And then we spoke about the great monster, the Mata, who was said to have been destroyed, killed and dismembered at a stone at Newgrange called Lech Ben. The next episode, staying on the theme of Newgrange, spoke about whether it was built using, people who were happy to cooperate with it, or whether they were coerced into it. Now that it would be interesting to revisit that episode in light of what came later with the DNA, and I think the DNA episodes are like 98 and 102. We'll get to those shortly. But it'd be interesting to revisit the whole idea of cooperation or forced labour in light of what we now know about at least one of the individuals buried at Newgrange. Episode 78 was entitled Newgrange, What Did the Folklore Say? Particularly the folklore pre-excavation, and what the post-excavation results might have proven about what might have been true in the folklore. And there were 2 episodes on that. And then we got to episode 80, which was about the excavation and restoration of Newgrange. Quite a controversial area, but I think I would come. I agree that it looks quite modern now, but at the same time, I came to the defence of the archaeologist Michael O'Kelly, whose reputation has been much maligned in recent times. And then we were back to the Book of Invasions, Laura Gabála. We were talking about the sons of Miel. And again, there were multiple recensions there to be read. And of course, that's one close to my own heart because Amragin's supposed to be buried here in my hometown of Drogheda. Episode 83, we were back to Newgrange with the famous, one of the very well-known stories of Newgrange, Altram Chia Gawathar, the fosterage of the house of the 2 Nethers, or the 2 drinking vessels. And we saw in that, didn't we, how there were 2 distinct strands of the story, one that was overtly pagan, as it were, and one that was overtly Christian. And we had another open house in episode 85, A Chat by the Fire, which are always great fun, enjoyable. Tales of the Fairies from W.B. Yeats was episode 86 and 87. In fact, 88, more Tales of the Fairies. Oh dear, I mentioned the F word. I shouldn't have done that. Hopefully. Oh, look, even more again. More F word stories. And then the wonderful Morgan Daimler, who we might call the queen of the F word stories, recording, writing about. And that was the first time we had a guest on Live Irish Myths, and of course it wasn't the last. And there's a whole new series that has sprung up out of that. An introduction to the Dindshanachus, or if you prefer to pronounce it, Dindshanachus, in episode 91, and that is a quote from the Irish from the poem Boand 1 about the Boyne, and that is an aerial photograph taken by myself of the Boyne estuary. Tara in the Dindshanachus, or the Dindshanachus, was episode 92 and 93, because remember we read the prose Dindshanachus and also the metrical Dindshanachus. Then episode 94, I said, we'll stick on the subject of Dindshanachus and spoke about Brunibonia. And episode 95, more from the Dindshanachus. In 96, we introduced the Annals, which are sort of a very important chronicling of the early and medieval history of Ireland, and probably the most extensive collection of annalistic records anywhere in the world. Then we spoke about the Annals of the Four Masters, or the Annals of Ireland, as they're also known. Cheers. Episode 98 was, my introduction, having only just I think that day, there was all the publicity about the DNA of Newgrange, and I hadn't had time to digest the paper, which we did a few episodes later. Episode 99 was about the Annals of Ulster, and episode 100 was a celebration of 100 episodes of Live Irish Myths. And at this point, I was well and truly starting to run out of steam. Episode number 101, which must have been on June the 20th, I think. Must have been around that time anyway. It was about summer solstice. And episode 102, I'm pretty sure, was about the DNA at Newgrange again. Yes, indeed. And I spoke in much more detail because at that stage I had read the paper compiled by Dr. Lara Cassidy and Dan Bradley and all of their fellow scientists who contributed to that paper, which was revelatory in the extreme. Episode 103 utilised the projector and screen that had arrived thanks to Desiree, and that was an episode about my photography. Episode 104, you see how it jumps from Billy to Jack, A Legend of Knockmany, Myths, Megaliths and Alignments. That was again based on a talk that I had done. I think there were slides with that. Enoch Engusa, Games and Henges, reference in the Dindshanachus to perhaps the late Neolithic ceremonial monuments of Brunibonia. These two are back to front. But anyway, Tónbó Freach, we did over 2 episodes. That was fascinating. That's a really interesting story. The Festival of Lunasa, part 1, because there's lots to say about Lunasa. In fact, if you've read Maura O'Neill's book about Lunasa, you'll know that there's very, very extensive detail about the celebration of it. 110 was the second part of that. Some of these are not in the right order. 111, we spoke about the protection of Irish monuments. Unfortunately, there's been a bit of vandalism to some monuments in recent times. Episode 112 and 13 were about the wooing of Emer. Tuchmark Emere. Episode 114, we were back to the Fina, Finn and the Fina, the birth and boyhood of Finn. And then we had a series of, they're not in the right order here, but we had a series of episodes about trees in Irish mythology. And we had the oak and the hazel and the hawthorn and the rowan and a couple of others. Episode 118 was about Island of the Setting Sun. And I think, was that in advance of, it must have been, because that, or was it? Did that coincide with the arrival of the 2020 edition? It probably did. 119 was called Scribes, Kings and Manuscripts, about religion and politics in medieval Ireland. And 120 was about constellations in Irish mythology. That, unfortunately, is as far as I go. There are 140 in total. And I just couldn't find immediately the other 20. They're on the computer somewhere. So anyway, there you go. Now, let me see. Let me just see if I can do this. Let me see if I can just bear with me a second. See if I can't make something happen here while we're. If you have anything that you want to. Hang on. No, I'm not going to do it that way. Sorry. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, please. Because I said I didn't really have a plan, and as you can see, I don't have a plan. I just wanted to mark the occasion and to say thanks, of course. Yeah, what an epic journey. And to consider that there's still probably a fair amount of material, for the regular episode. There's probably enough material. To be careful about this now, maybe I'm getting carried away. I'd say there's probably enough material perhaps for another 50 episodes, Oh, I don't want to call people. I just want to message people. Sorry, I apologize. No, that's not the right one. Apologies. I'm plotting and scheming. Give me one moment. Yeah. Zire and Tom King, just keep an eye on your Facebook messages there for a moment. I'm trying to get a couple of people to join the stream. I haven't used this feature with Melon app so far, where you can invite guests on. So I actually don't know how it works. So we'll see whether we get a couple of joiners. We may not, but if that's the case, then that's perfectly okay. Karen Gogus is in the house. Hello, Karen. I didn't see you. We mentioned you there a short while ago. An all jokes episode for April Fools, Aaron Durrett is suggesting. Yes. Yes, that could be organised. Yeah. Who else? Let me look for other victims here. Sorry. While I am waiting for replies on those, sorry, stop doing that and just make sure. I should mention that our next Live Irish Myths in Conversation episode is on Monday, and that features Bob Quinn. Bob is best known perhaps for his work on the TV series from the 1980s, broadcast 40 years ago, called Atlantean. and his book, The Atlantean Irish. Now, let me just see if I can paste in the link as a message there. Hopefully you can see that to register for that Zoom talk, which is on Monday. And of course, that is free, but you just have to register. Registration is free. And that's 9 p.m. Irish time. Now, I believe because of the time changes in the States this weekend, you'll be an hour ahead. So instead of 4 p.m., it'll be 5 p.m. in New York. So just take account of that. I want to say hello to Michael White, who says, I am new to this channel. Hello, Michael. You're very welcome along to Live Irish Myths and Mythical Ireland. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to make sure that you get notifications. But you're very welcome along. Hello. Here we go. Look at that. It does work. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
I'm in great form. I hope you're in good form too.
Very good. Hello, all the Tuatha. Hope everybody's keeping well.
So, just for those of you who don't know this man, this is Tom King. We call him, well, he calls himself Ongawa. He is the smith of the Tuatha Danann, come back into modern times. And you can see in the background, he's forging. Tom, tell us a little bit about what you're doing in the forge tonight. What are you making tonight?
1 second.
Oh, brilliant. This is going to be exciting.
I'm making some swans, Anthony. So this is the first stage of the swans.
Fantastic. Beautifully. Very tightly wound spirals. Is that difficult to do, Tom?
It is. It's quite tricky, Anthony. You got to have a good control with the fire. So I got to concentrate. And it's funny, when Anthony goes live with the Mythflix, some swans don't make the standard, I'm afraid, because I lose concentration. So I have to start again.
What sort of temperature do they need to be, Tom, to be, to be moldable or workable?
You're looking about 1,000 degrees there with that, but it's 6mm mild steel, so it's quite easy to heat. I do like a good hot forge there because it gets the steel hot quickly. It gets it to the temperature that I need to work it, so that it's not an issue. So it gets hot quite quickly.
Brilliant. And come here, tell me, how long would it take you to make one of those?
It will take about 20 minutes to 25 minutes from start to finish. So the first stage is done with the scroll, and then I'll cut it about so long. 1 second now. Yeah, I'll cut it about there, and then I'll start forming the neck and the head.
Brilliant. And what? Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, guess I'm going to make you all jealous. I have one already. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Tom's beautiful craftsmanship. Look at the quality there, and I even love the emerald, the beads on the neck strap. Really fantastic. What's the raw material, Tom?
It's a mild. It's mild steel, Anthony. That's what it is. It's just standard mild steel, black mild steel.
And do you reuse and recycle old materials?
I can, yes. In fact, I had a little fun with a seed dipper there a number of days back, and that was upcycled steel bar again that I found on the farm. So it's just using what I can find too, So yeah, I can certainly upcycle.
And come here, tell me a little bit about the forge, because I haven't been yet. Although I will, when the lockdown is over, I will visit you, and I'd love to do that.
Looking forward to getting you out, Anthony. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're outdoors, but are you undercover? I mean,
yes.
It's happening, isn't it?
I'm actually I'm in a farm building as we speak. So I'm just on the outside of the door, just to allow the fire burn away and let the smoke escape. So it's not a danger. So there's a balance. Once the fire's outside, I'm okay.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, Tom, what a delight. It's always a pleasure to see you on the live streams, but I love the Zoom conversations because we can actually see you working away in the background as you're hammering away.
It's great fun, and it's great fun to be among the two and among the friends, because everybody's dealing with lockdown in different ways, and you know what? Busy mind equals busy hands, so I'd highly encourage everybody to keep active.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, Tom, and we'll see you on Monday for Bob Quinn.
It's a pleasure, Anthony, and thank you so much. Many congratulations, and enjoy the evening. Keep safe, everybody. Delighted to be in touch.
Tom, all the best. That's Tom King. I'm just trying to message a few other people to see if they might join us. So I'm not please don't take this the wrong way. This isn't about singling people out. It just so happens that I am friends with. I apologize for moving around. I am friends with a few people on Facebook, which is why I'm able to message them. Aaron Duresh, you might check your Facebook messages. So that was Tom King, who is a Meath man who lives in Slane, close to the hill of Slane, just about 6 or 7 miles west of us here. We're at opposite ends of Brú-na-Bóinne. He is as close to Knowth as I am to Newgrange or to Dubh. So we're both on opposite ends of the bend of the Boyne. Anyway, I've messaged a couple of other people, but I don't see them appearing. But that works anyway. So there's a facility here to share the link. Desiree, I sent you a message as well. I'm not sure if you can join us. Actually, I wonder, can I? Well, before I finish, remember, Friday is steak night. There's a link. I wonder if I can share that. Is there one or two of you that want to come on and say hello? Just to say hello, and it seems that you just have to click the link, and I'll just watch out for any arriving guests. This is, of course, just like live TV. Anything can happen. The other thing too is that struck me that we've done 140 episodes. This one is not really an episode as such because we're not actually talking about mythology, but I do intend to continue the regular series. There's a fair bit more work involved in the conversation series, and that's because I have to do a reading, I have to read material, and I have to formulate questions, etc. So it's not just as easy as sitting down in front of the camera and saying, opening a book and doing some reading or whatever. But anyway, I think I was saying in the live stream yesterday about the forthcoming guests. We have guests for the rest of this month. So Monday is Bob Quinn. The following Monday, which is the 22nd, I'm going to have Geraldine Stout, the archaeologist, on. Geraldine has been doing a lot of work at Brú-na-Bóinne over the years, and a lot of stuff about medieval, especially the Cistercians, about medieval monastic settlements. She'll be fascinating, and myself and Geraldine are friends. We've known each other for many years. And then on the 29th of March, we have the prehistory guys, Michael Bott and Rupert Soskin, who made the film Standing with Stones, and who are now known as the prehistory guys on YouTube and on the internet. And they're wonderful, they're brilliant, they're very entertaining, and they're a breath of fresh air in relation to bringing information about mythology, about archaeology to the masses. So I'm looking forward to that. I was saying yesterday, I have asked plenty of other people. Some people have said yes, but I'm busy at the moment. Can we do it later in the summer or whatever? Grand. One or two very well-known people have said yes, but there are some just technical issues that have to be worked out. So expect further announcements down the line. The other thing too is that today I heard word from the printer, and the word was that Return to Seggish is expected back at the printers from the bindery on Tuesday next. And all that needs to be done at that stage is for the dust jacket to be wrapped around the cover. And I'll be hoping for delivery of the books into my hands sometime in the middle of next week.
Desiree joined.
Desiree. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, I figured it out.
Whoa!
I figured out how to use the link. It's good to see
Well,
you.
there you go. See, it works. It's brilliant.
Awesome.
I'm going to introduce you. So I call this lady Desiree. It turns out that from day one, I was pronouncing her name wrong. Her name, of course, is Desiree. Desiree, you're in Louisiana, isn't that right?
That's correct. At least for a little while longer than moving to Colorado.
Yeah. And you have been what I call one of the regulars, one of those people who's there nearly all the time. And I just invited you in to say hello. Where's the dogs?
Oh, look there. Oh, they're there. See, Amadeus and then Azalea. Where's she at? Let me see. Oh, there's Azalea. Oh.
Lovely.
Yep, they're always there. I came outside so they wouldn't jump all over me and try and get in the camera.
That's what happens, That's why I keep the other two out of the room when the live streams are going on, because you wouldn't know what might happen,
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been a great delight to have built up, such a wonderful community of followers and friends, and sort of like an extended.
It really
family
has.
around
It's become like my second family, Especially when I travel and stuff. It's nice knowing I've always got the two there.
Yeah, exactly. And what time of the day is it there?
It's around noon. It's 1 o'clock, actually.
It's 1, yeah, because it's just gone 7 p.m. here in Ireland. And the rain is falling heavily on the roof as I speak to you. The weather is very hit and miss here. It looks to be a little bit drier where you are anyway.
Well, for rarely, yeah, we're having we've had a few days without rain. Normally in Louisiana, it's pretty wet, but we got some clouds coming. It's probably going to rain later.
Brilliant. And so is there anything that you'd like to say before we...
No, I'm just so grateful to have found this group, and I thank you so much, Anthony. It's meant so much. Like, I've met so many wonderful people and learned so much, and I mean, I don't know how I would have got through COVID without you and this group, and it's been like the one good thing to come out of all this.
Well, I keep saying I think we're very fortunate that we live in an era where we have the technology to do these things, because if you think about it, even if this had been, say, 6 or 7 years ago, live streams weren't a thing on social media. Camera technology wasn't good enough on phones, etc., etc. So I suppose we're lucky that we've had it, and we've been able to maintain sort of face-to-face contact, as it were, with people around the world. Anyway, say hello to the dogs from us, and
right.
on Monday for Bob Quinn's conversation episode. And sure,
yes,
if not,
I missed last Monday, but I watched it like 2 hours after. Whenever I got back home, it was great. I'm so glad. Sorry, I missed it.
that's the great thing about being able to record these and put them up on YouTube afterwards, is that if you miss them, people can still watch them. So it's great, Anyway, Desiree, as I call you, thanks for joining us, and have a good day.
You too, Anthony. Thank you for...
Cheerio. So it does work. And anyway, if there was one more person willing to join us, we'll have that. Otherwise, I will finish up and say, really, just to say, again, thanks. Who we couldn't have known a year ago what was going to happen with COVID-19. How much it was going to spread and develop, how much it was going to restrict our movements, etc., etc. I'm glad to say also that I have enough material in terms of photography and probably in terms of video footage to create more. If you're a patron in particular, you'll get the juicy stuff first. I always have to mention the patrons because, in fairness, they make a lot of this stuff happen. And if you want to become a patron, that's patreon.com/Mythical Ireland. Colette Kavanagh is saying, could I say hi to Bob Quinn? We worked together many years ago at RT, but lost contact due to me leaving Ireland. Yeah, absolutely, Colette, if I can remember to do so. But even better again would be, why don't you register and join the live stream on Zoom on Monday evening? And at the end of each episode, what I do is I allow people to ask, I allow 2 or 3 live questions. So you could nearly put your hand up, if you were watching and for a question, and maybe you'll get to speak to Bob on the episode, how about that? But certainly, these things are completely free to register. The link I did share, just share that again anyway, no harm to keep sharing it so that people keep registering. I'm just sharing that. Hopefully that will appear on YouTube and on Facebook. But yeah, feel free to join us. Erica Rivertree Tuatha the Mythflix, mad love. Yes, we are sort of we are a funny bunch, but is that funny, haha, or funny, peculiar? Says the man. Just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. Did I get a message? Nora Gaffney O'Connor, are you watching? Just can you try and click on that link and see if you can join us and say hello? Nora, again, is one of our regulars, as in is there nearly all the time. Yeah. So I want to tell you that my wife hated my impulse purchase of an expensive revolving chair, but then she sat on it. Eventually she came around. Don't encourage me. My wife and I also had a huge argument as to whose turn it was to do the laundry. Eventually I folded. Don't encourage me, please. Natalia, thank you for your nice comment. And yeah, I mean, first of all, it's nice to have the distraction, isn't it? But secondly, it's also nice to be learning. And it's been a particular learning experience for me. I have learned so much. And I've been forced to read. And not that I need to be forced, but, you know, in normal life, without COVID, you'd be busy running around and making excuses for not reading and not finding the time for it. I was able to, I've been told to get my coat by Joan McHugh. I don't blame you either. But you know, I've personally learned so much from doing all the readings. It's been fabulous. Karen Goes is laughing. I told you, don't encourage me. Don't, definitely. You don't want any more of that. Yeah, some funny reactions. Okay. If I don't see anyone else appearing, I'll leave it at that. But Monday, Bob Quinn. Monday week, Geraldine Stout. And Monday fortnight, the prehistory guys. The next 3 episodes of Live Irish Myths and Conversation. Rowan, I cannot deny the veracity of that allegation. You know, lots of people have added significantly to their libraries in the past year, principally on my recommendations. I apologize for it, but at the same time, I don't. You know, it's like you know, it just comes with the territory. It's part of the territory. When you hear a story or a snippet from a book and you say, oh, I really like that, you really have to have the rest of the book, don't you? You know? Yes, indeed, Yvette. That's exactly what would be said by all of us.
Nora joined.
Here we go. Nora is going to join us now. Sorry, there was one comment I wanted to share before. Mariana. Thank you, Mariana. And it's good to know that we've made a difference. Anyway, Nora Gaffney O'Connor is joining us. Hello, Nora.
How are you? Oh my God, this is great. How are you doing? Absolutely enjoying this evening. It's brilliant. Sorry about the hair. I'm just out of the shower.
Now listen, don't worry about it. Come here, were you out for a swim today?
I was absolutely Baltic. Absolutely Baltic. And then you see with the storm we've had, like it's really cold. It's brought down a whole load of really cold Arctic water, so it's a struggle, but sure, we keep going, and there's a few of us get in, and lots of shouts and woohoos and all of this, but we get in, you know. But,
I don't know how you
many
do
congratulations, Anthony. Like, God, you've been absolutely brilliant keeping us all sane, and the support I got from yourself and the two at the time of my dad's passing, you were all just so lovely. And I really appreciate that, you know. You're so good. And I have me Swan on as well. It was lovely to hear.
Hey, look.
Tom. Snap.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tom's making more of them as we speak. Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Nora, let me ask you a question. What was your favourite episode?
I was just thinking that when you were going through the Bealtaine one, do you remember when we all lit our own fires and we had our little candles and we had our lamps and we were walking through? Do you remember you were telling us about walking through the flames and all, you know? And I had no outdoor thing, so I had my two little lamps and we did walking through. It was just gorgeous. It was brilliant. And then I loved the one you did with the constellations with Orion. That was fascinating. And I have to say, I never knew anything about the Cailleach until I joined on your Mythical Ireland episodes, and that just blew me away. It was just amazing, you know.
There's quite a lot of material about the Cailleach as well, so you know it's great that people are introduced to that.
It was lovely. It was brilliant. It was great. I loved that one as well. And then of course, look at the Hostel, the Derga, the crack we had on that was just hilarious.
Talking about the shins,
the lovely shins, and it was hilarious. And there was Monty Python comments going up like no man's business, you know. It was great crack now. Great crack doing that.
Reminded me, I think we'll have to do a special Bealtaine thing again. That was you're right. That was really lovely to see the fires being lit around the world.
And everybody posted up their little pictures of their own little fires. It was just lovely. Yeah. Like it was like everybody was lighting their fire together. It was just great, you know. Yeah. And then from Ishnach to do you remember on the RT they did the fabulous drone broadcast.
The heart.
Amazing.
The heart on fire. Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was just amazing. Oh God, it was great, you know. And then we had the lovely Samhain one, remember around Halloween? They were great. They told the ghost stories from W.B. Yeats, frightened the bejesus out of us. You know, your man going down the road.
It's all, and you know, it's all part of the service. Frightening the bejesus out of people is all part of it, you know.
God, it was great, yeah. And carrying the corpse on the back.
I'm looking forward to more sort of communal activity like that. And of course, eventually when this pandemic passes, as it will, we may actually be able, as a community, some of us anyway, to gather together in reality somewhere, and, you know, and tell stories and have a bit of crack and all the rest, you know.
That would be deadly. I'd love that. That would be just brilliant. Yeah,
I have to say, I admire you greatly for stepping into the sea in the wintertime. I just don't know how you do that. I think
it's sheer madness. I don't think it's bravery at all, you know.
Well, if you're able to stick my jokes on Netflix, you'll probably be able to stick the cold temperatures of the Irish Sea. You know, that's the way I see it.
Not at all. Your jokes and your singing are always welcome, Anthony. Always welcome.
Definitely don't encourage the singing. Yeah, definitely. If you want to clear a room, just ask me to go in and sing. I'll tell you, that'll be it. Nora, great pleasure to have you along, and always great to see you. And hopefully we'll see you on the next few Monday nights on the conversation series. Hope you're enjoying those.
They've been absolutely amazing. Oh my God, just deadly. Like, you know, Jim Fitzpatrick, Eddie Lennon. It's just great, you know. And you're such a lovely interviewer because you can see they're very relaxed and they just chat away to you, and they're, you know, they're never in a hurry to leave. Like, so that just shows you how good an interviewer you are.
It's not really about interviewing them as much as just having a conversation with them. That's right,
you know? Yeah. Having a pint with them.
Yeah, it's helped in a couple of cases. I know, I won't mention names, but in a couple of cases, I know that there were individuals who were like, you know, I don't know whether I want to do this or not. And then afterwards, they're like, yeah, I'm really glad I did that. You know, they really enjoyed themselves. So,
yeah, it is very daunting, I'd say, for them. Like, oh my God, a live stream, you know, all these hundreds of people listening in, but they all got into the swing of it, you know, and they really enjoyed it, and were never in a hurry to leave. Not one of them was.
You know, everybody's different. Some people are okay about speaking in front of audiences, and some people aren't. Some people are introverted, and that's perfectly okay. You know, the main thing is about trying to make them feel relaxed and comfortable. You know,
it's just a chat. Yeah,
sort of like a new version of the Late Late Show, except for with bad jokes added. Anyway, Nora, I'm going to let Aaron Durrett in, and I'm going to say goodbye for now. And we'll see you Monday. And thanks for joining us on all these streams. And there's Aaron. Like a new version of the Late Late Show. Okay, I know what's happening. We're hearing a replay. Aaron, good evening to you. or good afternoon, good morning.
I'm in the same time as Desiree right now because I'm in the West. So I'm at just after 1 in the afternoon.
Brilliant. Okay, so the sun is shining there, is it, I hope?
Oh, no, we have a lovely, very soft, warm, humid, cloudy day. As soon as the sun comes out, it just gets unbearably humid and hot, but it's so lovely with a soft breeze and the clouds right now. It's just beautiful outside and so many birds. I just can't believe the dawn chorus here. It's just so amazing. And these are all the birds that I grew up with. And I don't get to hear them very often. The blue jays and the cardinals and the mockingbirds. And, it's just thrilling to hear them.
They're very busy here at the moment. You can see that nesting season is, they're very busy flitting around the place and making lots of wonderful sounds in the morning and in the evening. Well, all day, but in that you first hear the first bird in the morning, and then that dawn is going to break. It's quite a wonderful thing,
Oh, it's wonderful.
But anyway, Erin, I would describe you as one of the regulars. And
I think I saw all up past 100, somewhere up past 100. I saw every single episode when you were on every day, up past 100 and something.
So you're basically saying you were hard up for entertainment.
Well, I was loving soaking in these stories. There is something that is so, I just recently got my DNA information back from MyHeritage, and it's 60% British, 20% Irish, Scots, Welsh, 20% French, and 2% Italian or something. But hey, there's a good percentage of Irish in there.
Well, with a name like Erin, I mean, I would hope so. But as I'm always saying, I don't think I'd ever wanted to have my DNA done, because I'd probably find I've got Viking and Norman blood in somewhere, because at the end of the day, we're all a mixed bag, if there's European heritage in your family at all, you don't know where you came from. We've been learning in the past year about how in prehistory, the Irish came from the Pontic steppe, for instance, Anatolia, the Near East. We're not nearly as Irish as we think we are, but what makes us unique is our ability to tell stories and, of course, to sing and tell a few jokes as well, allegedly.
Wow. Well, I think my dad must have had more than a drop of Irish blood, because he had the gift of the gab for sure. And it's one of the things. This library is his that you see behind me here, and it's full of European storytelling and architecture and history.
Brilliant, yeah. There's something lovely about the universal nature of the stories, which is why that they can never be described as uniquely Irish, really, because they all have a sort of a core message that applies. There's a message there for humanity. All of these stories were made up by people in the past who had the same sort of experiences as humans as we have in our interactions with each other, our interactions with the earth, the sky, with nature, etc., etc. So it's only natural,
There's something about knowing. I mean, if you're a person who believes in reincarnation, you can imagine that we've all been reincarnated in different bodies in different parts of the world for thousands of years. But there's something about knowing, and I just got that DNA information in the last week, very recently, and there really is something about knowing that, hey, I might have a drop of Irish blood, that makes the stories feel more like, hey, that's my Indigenous heritage.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I come from. And I can't wait to set foot on it.
Well, look, fingers crossed. You know, as I keep saying to people, like, I know that some people are very distraught about and worked up about having to be locked down and all the rest, but this will pass. You know, this will pass. We have the experts working on vaccinations, etc., etc. It will pass. We just have to be patient for the moment. Those of us who can be, and thankfully we're blessed that we're able to come together like this. And then eventually, when things open up again, I mean, I'll hopefully be welcoming a whole load of Tuatha tribe members from different parts of the world, and you know, showing them around the Boyne Valley. And we'll get there, but for the moment we just have to do things this way. And you know what? It ain't that bad at the end of it all, is it? You know?
No, it's not. I'm incredibly privileged. You know, I have food. I have my family around me. This is.
As we say, count your blessings.
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
So it's so easy to concentrate on the negative, but when you look at the positives, for a lot of people, there are a lot of positives as well. Silver linings, we'll call them. But anyway, thanks, Erin.
Want help planning a party for Solstice 222?
That sounds like a reasonable prospect, actually. So let's keep that in our focus and try and make it happen. You know, I don't know which solstice. He didn't mention whether summer or winter, but you know, either one, I'd be happy. You know?
I hope to be there next spring, and I may be there all summer. So if you want help planning, I'm there for you.
Well, we might have a chance to do that hopefully before too long. Erin, thanks a million for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you.
Everybody get your shots.
Exactly. Get your vaccination. Sooner we all do that, get rid of the conspiracy nonsense. Let's all get back to full health and, you know, all that. Erin, a very good afternoon to you from the Boyne Valley, and we'll see you hopefully for the conversation series on Monday, or on one of the Mondays coming. Take it easy. In the meantime, folks, I'm going to leave it at that because I have to go and cook. Friday evening is my culinary duties, and so I have to, I'm very perfectly glad to do so. I have to give my wife a break, and I do the cooking on a Friday. We sit down and have a meal and a glass of wine and watch a movie together. So I drink to your health this evening and say thank you, every one of you, for making Live Irish Myths what it has been. It would never have been anything without the wonderful community that has built up around it. Thank you for coming back and for enduring the jokes and the singing and the ridiculous things that happen sometimes in live streams. But most of all, thank you for your company. It's been my greatest honour and pleasure, and a fabulous privilege for me to host this series and the offshoots, which are proving to be just as popular, if not more so. So more to come. In the meantime, all I'd say to you is stay safe, keep doing what you need to do to suppress this virus, and let's look forward to the day when, as Erin has pointed out, when we're actually able to meet together, hopefully on one of the sacred sites of Ireland, and in a venue close by afterwards to enjoy some Cailleach agus crack, and that is music and fun. By the way, just in case you're confused as to what type of crack I'm talking about, Cailleach agus crack agus rira agus rúlia búlia. In the meantime, it's been my pleasure. Happy first anniversary. And look, I'm not wishing in terms of pandemic for that to continue, but certainly I think what we have going here, I hope it continues long into the future. It's been my great joy to be part of it, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. In the meantime, have a good Friday evening, afternoon / morning, depending on where you are. If we have any viewers in the far side of the world, happy Saturday to you. Hope you all have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday evening for Bob Quinn, Live Irish Myths in Conversation, episode 8. Really looking forward to that one. In the meantime, as I say, have a good weekend. Colasov, sound sleep. Slán go fóil. Bye for now. Ikawa, which is good night, but if it's not good night for you, then whenever it's relevant. And the most important one, of course, is Tog go bugay. Take it easy. See you all on Monday.